Less than a mile away from the entryway into Washington, D.C., surrounded by scenic views and multi-million-dollar houses, lies a community of the unspoken and the forgotten. Now, the area of Arlandria and Chirilagua, which has historic and cultural roots embedded into the community, has its neighbors divided over a proposal for a massive new development, and many low-income residents in the area are concerned about the fast gentrification to occur. We visited the area and wanted to know if gentrification was to happen, can culture be sustained?
I was born and raised in Alexandria in the town Arlandria, Chirilagua. I'm currently a student at Northern Virginia Community College. As well, I've been working a full-time at Mom's Organic Market, which is in the same neighborhood in Arlandria. I'm a cashier, and so I talk to a lot of customers, and that's actually how I found out about the whole redevelopment. This is Mount Vernon Avenue, and as you see, a lot of the places are Latino markets, grocery stores, And most of Chirilagua starts from here and on. Everybody is either sending money to their countries or paying their cell phone bills. They call it here Los Chinos. I used to come here all the time as little kids and buy, like toys that probably break within a week you have them, things like that. And of course, you can't really compare this, to like Toys R Us or something. But I mean, the kids don't really know, oh, I have to have Barbie, or they're happy with what they get, The thing about Chirilagua, almost everybody knows everybody here. So most likely a lot of people will hand wave me or because they know my parents and so on. So we can go, hola. Bien, ¿y usted? Bien. The waffle shop, everybody comes there. I used to come there as a little kid, and I remember back then the counters were more dirty, and it's usually open all night, so a lot of people come and eat, like a steak and cheese and, a waffle, and you're gonna see, like sometimes carne asada or something, and that didn't used to be there. It just comes to show how prominent the Latino culture is in here. The majority of the people that live in Chirilagua live in these apartments, and it's two streets. It's Russell and Executive. I remember living here and going to that playground as a kid, My parents came here in the early 90s. They wanted to escape the Civil War in El Salvador because it was really tough economically, and there was a lot of danger there in the families, and they would have a lot of massacres and death squads over there. My dad, he is illiterate. He has jobs. He works as a dishwasher. My mom would always tell me, I don't want you cleaning toilets like me. As a little kid, I would have to, translate each letter, each bill that we would have to do. So I would worry about money all the time. And are you going to pay the rent on time? Are you going to pay this on time? And so once we have this redevelopment, people are going to be moving in. Most likely people who work in DC and, people who earn a lot of money. We're going to be realistic. The people here work construction, cleaning, and so they earn 20 grand annually. People who live in the community, they're going to slowly be moving out. Possibly the managers from the other apartments are going to see, well, people are starting to move here a lot, so why don't we boost up our rents, And that's when slowly the people are going to start moving out. A lot of people don't want to say this word, and they're afraid of this word, gentrification, the displacement of people. And I feel, sadly, it's going to happen.
Welcome to Chirilagua.
You have searched me, Lord, and you know me.
Chirilagua, also known as Arlandria, is a neighborhood in Alexandria, Virginia.
My name is Adriana Gomez Shalhas, and I work at Casa Chirilagua as our mentoring director. So I My job is to match our kids in our programs. Casa Chirilagua started not with no desire to be a nonprofit. It started off when 3 women became friends, and they were had a heart for Latin American. Right now, as an organization, we're in our 2nd year of the 3-year strategic plan that we put in place last year, and we are in this plan came about asking the question to our families, those that have been involved with Casa Chirilagua for a long time, or almost since the beginning, asking the question, what are your dreams for your family? What are your dreams for Casa Chirilagua in the next 3 years? So from in part of our parents, it could be a lot of fear. If they see an official or someone from the city, it could just instill fear in them, especially if they're, undocumented or whatever it may be. We don't ask that from our families. We don't really, all that is something we're not responsible of knowing that. We don't want to know that, and if we do, that's fine. We don't share it, but I think it could be fear from the parents, from the family side, when they see a city official or a person who's coming knocking on the door. I believe during the 80s, when there was a lot of civil unrest in El Salvador, a lot of people from the Pueblo Chirilagua moved to this area. I don't know if they were granted amnesty or they were refugee status because of just the conditions of their country. So they sort of renamed it Chirilagua because a lot of people that were from Chirilagua.
Mira, vea. Después pues yo. ¡Yo!
I think it will be very difficult to keep that culture, just because a lot of people would have had to move out. So people to carry on that culture will no longer be living there, and therefore that culture will die down. It will probably not be seen after the development. If it happens, it won't be seen as a Latin American neighborhood.
Our largest operation to date, specifically targeting violent U.S. street gangs that have teamed up with international drug trafficking organizations.
To the gang members who are still out there, I'd offer this warning. Be looking over your shoulder because there's a good chance we're coming for you next.
Showing insured by Geico, Ambassador 2729.
ICE agents and officers sought out and arrested gang members
check on the firearm
in 168 cities. This initiative, known as Community Shield, based on the idea that a strong partnership between ICE and local law enforcement is the most effective way to target transnational street gangs. I'm not afraid to take a stand. Everybody, come take my hand. Come take my hand. Walk this road together through the storm. Whatever weather comes along, just let you know that you're not alone. Holler if you feel like you've been down the same road. We arrested 678 gang members and their associates from 133 different gangs.
I think as far as violence, I think the violence that has been happening is not so much, I could be totally wrong, but the sex trafficking has skyrocketed in the neighborhood. I feel it's a crime that's easiest to hide, but it grows so fast. Like the whole sex trafficking can just grow. And I think that's what we've seen. Chirilagua is considered one of the highest population of sex trafficking So I think that's, in that regard, yes, I mean, it has affected some of the families. But as an organization as a whole, has violence affected? I mean, um, I would say, because certain families have been affected, I would say, yeah, it has um, created some, I guess, sadness. But as far as keeping us going forward, thankfully, up to now, it hasn't really affected us. Several of our families have moved to Oxon Hill, Maryland, others to Woodbridge area. So I don't know what, possibly Casa Chirilagua will follow where most of the families will move to. It'll be really hard if everyone moves everywhere else. Um, but the hope and the idea is that the people from Chirilagua will take over Casa Chirilagua. Basically, we want to work ourselves out of a job and create local leadership to the point where they can be sitting here, as mentoring director, as kids club director, as executive director.